this. And again, as I said, the power that the cities have is vested in their board member representation. So that's your authority with the board.
Will they be required to, will they report to the council every so often as what's going on proceeding, you know? Keep us updated,
okay,
I guess is what I'm
now,
saying.
right now, I don't know that there's any provisions where some member of the board will come and address the city council, because the meetings that they will have are just like yours. They're open to the public. They have to abide by open meetings and open records law. So if you would like someone from the board to periodically,
if we requested,
if you requested, yes. Well, of course, because you appointed those people. If you want them back here to talk to them.
Now you said that one step that this corporation would be looking at, that you had in your preliminary planning, was one water plant, one sewer plant. Can you tell us the location that you're proposing at this point, but even though you haven't, you know, you don't have it and you can't say anything?
What are y'all proposing? Now what I'm saying is not just me, you know, saying and recommending. This is a discussion that we had as a steering committee. Okay. Now, what everyone had thought, ideally, and it goes to basically the hydraulics of the area, would be that if there is a sufficient water source at Lynch to serve all three cities, that's something we don't know at this time, but if there were, it would be ideal if the water treatment plant could be constructed there, all the water sent to a tank, and it would gravity flow all the way down to Cumberland. No additional electric costs for pumping. At the same time, the ideal location for the sewer plant, of course, would be somewhere down in Cumberland, so that all the wastewater would gravity flow to the sewer plant. Now, I say that's as a steering committee. I said, well, ideally, this seems like it would be a good deal. They will part of actually one of the first steps they'll do is to send out an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, to select an engineer. Then at that point, working with the engineer, looking at the hydraulics, the water quality, the water supply, the volume, determine, you know, where is the best place to locate it. So yeah, they have a concept of how they'd like to see it work. It just comes down to, when we get the facts, it might change.
I might say right here too that the board agreed that it didn't matter where it was going to be built, as long as we can get it built. And everybody was happy.
But the first step would be to repair what's out there, the leaks.
Oh yes.
And
in order to
secondary, you'd be working on when
it'll be simultaneous, actually. And you know, $1 million grant for the scope of work that needs to be done, $1 million isn't a drop in the bucket.
No.
I'll tell you that up front. It sounds like a big pot of money, but it's not in the utility business.
No.
What is the final figure on that monetary? $1,100,000 or
Right at
1.2, isn't it?
It started out as 1.2.
1.2 million.
No, it started out at that. Then they paid for the engineering study, or the interconnect study out of that. So you're down to 1.1, somewhere right in there.
All right. Anytime you get a grant, the cities are obligated to pay a certain percent. You know, come up with money.
You won't have to.
We won't have to.
You won't have to. No, ma'am.
They took care of that.
Well.
Now, my question, is it optional for the three cities to be involved, or can one city alone? Since I guess the amount was, you know, requested in what, about 1999 or 2001?
It was
February the 9th, 2001.
It was requested and I think appropriated in 2002.
Oh, okay.
The grant was written so if that money is utilized to benefit the Tri-Cities area, through interconnecting the infrastructure. So what all three cities have formed the corporation that all three cities have formed by resolution, signed the Articles of Incorporation, filed with the Secretary of State. If ideal, of course, you want all three cities to be involved. I would say that if one were to drop out, things could still move forward as long as you can honor the intent of the grant, and that would be to extend water and sewer line, from Cumberland all the way up to Lynch. And that way you would provide for interconnectivity between all three.
Say Benham dropped out, how would you go through their community?
Well, I suspect with highway right-of-ways, those areas, if they can be utilized, and, if it gets any more than that, then it's down to engineers and lawyers.
What about expanding services to people like Letcher County?
That's,
I mean, is that in the plans to do that? Because the more customers you can serve, it also makes it more comfortable and water bills go down.
the more customers you can serve, well, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The more customers that you can spread the cost of operation over, minimizes that bill, lowers that bill.
But
I guess another way to say it is that
even though this would be like a Tri-City project, there's no problem with y'all extending
No, ma'am.
services onto other,
no, ma'am.
because Letcher County has been after, I know this council, not this council, but councils before, and our water system just wouldn't pump it.
Right.
We just couldn't do it.
Letcher County has the Letcher County Water and Sewer District has project funding to construct a distribution system right up the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first phase is to pick up 250 homes, and those folks desperately want water up that way.
Yeah,
I go to the Letcher County's board meetings regularly, and they're always asking about it.
So when would it be? I mean, when would it be feasible? I mean, of course, that would be in a later planning stage, but that would be one of your goals
Yes.
to do that. One of the board's goals to do that. Because you want to
Certainly
include
would.
everybody in the areas, so.
And
So basically what it comes down to is, we've got the money out there, we're not gonna have to pay anything toward the grant. You all have managed to take care of that, which is a wonderful thing, because I don't know where this city would get $30,000. And it would be more if the city of Benham drops out, because you gotta split that cost.
right.
You hire local employees,
The
it's run by local people.
Well, the plan is to, certainly, for, let's say all three cities are participating, that after the operating plan has been approved and the lease is signed with all three cities, that the existing utility employees will then become employees of the Tri-City Utility Authority.
That's when that lease would be turned over. Well,
Yes.
lease turnover, that might be go to you.
Yes,
As far as benefits and everything, that would still maintain health insurance and et cetera.
yes, health insurance and also retirement. That's one of the
Well,
other things
that's
that they
another
want.
expense, and if this board would take our employees and, they still have their jobs, they still have their benefits, that's also a saving to the city also. I mean, we have to look at losing the water income, but when you look at losing the water income, you're spending every bit of that plus more to maintain your old system that's rotted down. I mean, your pipes are rusted all the way up through town and everything, so.
Right. Now, I wanted to jump back to the other issue of American Water, because I don't think I answered that for you, or for everyone else here as well. My association is not affiliated in any way whatsoever with Kentucky American Water.